Hello, Ospreys. I'm Shafalika Bhatnagar.
And I'm Chris Jennings.
Today, we bring you the latest on Donald Trump Jr.'s visit to the University of Florida.
Also, we hear both sides from the recent campus preachers' protest on campus.
So stick around because Nest News starts right now.
Over 1,000 protesters came together at the University of Florida after an announcement about Donald Trump Jr. making an appearance for the campus speaking engagement Thursday night. Some students were highly upset after finding out that Trump and his girlfriend, Kimberly Guilfoyle, will be doing a keynote presentation on campus and also receive a total of $50,000 in student fees. According to the Washington Post, the student felt forced to support the appearance of the two political figures. And students were reportedly suspicious that the speaking engagement was just a title to mask what they really thought was a campaign rally. The student body president, Michael Murphy, is the one responsible in approving for the couple to be paid in student fees.
Last week, there was a small protest directed towards campus preachers who occupied the sidewalk next to the UNF Green. And we heard what some of them had to say. This week, there were more protests, and UNF Spinnaker wanted to get both sides of the story. Spinnaker reporter Courtney Green went to the Green to check out what happened from both perspectives.
Disturbance on the Green between the preachers and LGBT protesters. We got both sides of the story, as well as a word in with the Dean of Students.
Up to this point, no matter what happens, no matter how many lines these guys cross, there hasn't been any, repercussions for them. Because, UPD doesn't know what their rights as protesters are, and therefore if they're over by the library where they're not supposed to be, they're too scared to come in and tell them that they're not supposed to be there.
What happened was we began to preach on the Green as we normally do. We've been here for about 2 years, just preaching and just telling people the gospel of Jesus Christ. And we were, there was just a lot of kids that came by with, pride parade flags or different things, and they were just, had amplified sound, and they were just shoving the Bose speaker inside with very inappropriate songs and things like that. And we just kept preaching. That's pretty much what happened.
Well, now, Ospreys, we've seen both sides of what happened today on the Green, as well as both parties' future hopes for going forward. This is Courtney Green with Spinnaker News.
There's no telling if the protests will go on for an extended period of time, but the campus preacher debate is a hot topic in student government.
Have you ever struggled with parking on campus? Well, students on campus had the opportunity to let their voice be heard about the issue of parking on campus earlier this semester through a survey. The results from the survey show that 73.80% of students have been late to a class because of the struggle to find parking. And 77.9% of Blue Lot Pass holders said that their permit was not worth the price they paid for it. Using these results, student government will look for ways to alleviate the stress of parking on campus, but noticeable changes are expected to take a few years.
Tucked in a little corner of UNF over by the Osprey Landing dorms is a duck named Howard, a gator named Mindy, and a mysterious island that houses familiar reptiles. Our Candy Cane Lake on campus has been a bridge that connects the Osprey Cove and the Osprey Landings. And sometimes when coming over the bridge, you can spot some curious turtles getting a little bit of sun. Now, there's no word or quack from Howard the Duck on this news, and the new inhabitants will be something we'll most likely see in the future.
All right, guys, coming up, we discuss dark mode.
And also some gaming news for our Birds of Play fans.
So stick around because Nest News will be right back.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6. We have main engine start. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Let me tell you a little bit about the STEM. My name's Lee Gia. My friends and I have done some amazing things on this show, like flying through hurricanes, driving Teslas, or swimming with manatees, or even floating in zero gravity. We film these things and bring them here, to the world's next great science and spaceship. That's where the STEM comes in. We go on adventures as an excuse to learn something. The universe is a pretty big place. There's a lot to learn, a lot that's interesting to learn. Over the next year or so, we'll be riding in the centrifuge, farm in the heart of New York City, fly a spaceship, fly President Harry Truman's Air Force One, launch some rockets, catch some rockets. Nice! Shoot video at the speed of light. Our world and universe are there, waiting to be explored. The question is, what are you waiting for?
All right, so Shafalika, I heard a Jay and Silent Bob reboot is coming out.
Yes, I'm so excited for it. Here's your week's pop culture rundown.
In pop culture news, the tech company Sony announced that the PlayStation 5 will launch in the time of the holiday season in the year 2020.
Not only was the release date of the new console announced this week, but we also gained new information about the PlayStation 5's controller.
The new controller is rumored to be called DualShock 5, and underneath its hood is where all the improvements can be found. But as of right now, we only know that haptics and adaptive triggers will be present on the controller.
A while back, Matt Lauer was fired from NBC after a complaint of sexual assault was made against him from one of his former colleagues. Brooke Nevels, the newly identified accuser, details her story in journalist Ronan Narrow's new book on exactly how the sexual assault went down back in 2014 during the Winter Olympics.
According to NPR, Nevels recalls she consumed way too many drinks that night and remembers Lauer inviting her up to his hotel room so she could receive her media credentials. But that's when Lauer allegedly pushed Nevels onto his bed and forced her to have sex with him.
The former NBC star responded to the rape allegations Wednesday and tells news sources that it's all promotional efforts to sell a book. Well, Kevin Smith is bringing back his cult classic comedy Jay and Silent Bob reboot. The movie comes out October 15th and will star Jason Mewes as Jay and Kevin as Silent Bob.
Yeah, this film is a throwback to the original 90s films, except this time it is turned up with even more crazy antics and raunchy humor.
During his press tour for Jay and Silent Bob's reboot, Kevin Smith dropped a nugget of hope for his 80s fans, saying that Clerks 3 is also in the making. The new Clerks movie has so many fans stoked for its release.
All right, and Instagram is following the lead of Apple and Android by offering a new dark mode for their social media platform. Dark mode would change your IG post and message to a black background with white writing.
Many users are already using dark mode, so this new feature will make for a seamless user experience on both Apple iOS 13 and Android 10 devices. Twitter's iOS app offers dark mode as well, but you may have to set it manually.
I don't have Instagram, so I'll probably have to just miss out on this feature, unfortunately, but I hear a lot of people actually enjoy it.
I really think it's going to be great. I think the black background's going to make all the photos pop on Instagram, which is kind of the point of Instagram. But you can always use it on Twitter, too.
Yeah, it's a pretty innovative idea. I like it.
It's cool.
All right.
Coming up, we check out what's happening in sports.
Also, weather outlook.
You're watching Nest News on Spinnaker TV.
Hey Ospreys, welcome back to Spinnaker TV. Let's jump right into your Spinnaker Sports Report.
Thanks guys, it was quite a rewarding week for UNF sports. The UNF women's soccer team shut out the North Alabama Lions 1-0 at home after an early goal inside the box by Caramel Oliveira. Oliveira secured the only goal of the night in the 8th minute when she pushed past the Lions defenders and scored on an assist by Leah Furlan. The Ospreys are back home at Hodges Stadium on Sunday, October 13th, as they face Lacombe University at 1 p.m. The men's soccer team picked up the first point for the Ospreys in the River City Rumble in their 2-0 win over JU. Freshman Robbie Sternellis scored both goals, and junior Adam Everett was named the ASEN Defensive Player of the Week for his performance against the Dolphins. The team heads up to the Garden State to take on NJIT this Saturday, October 12th. Also in soccer news, both the men and women's soccer teams earned the United Soccer Coaches 2018-2019 Team Academics Award for their extraordinary performance in the classroom. In order to be eligible for this award, every player on the roster must have a 3.0 GPA or higher for that academic year. Out of 955 eligible schools, UNF is one of 258 to have both the men and women's team receive this award. Great job, Ospreys! UNF junior runner Sydney Steele was just announced as the first ever Student Leader of the Month by the Taylor Leadership Institute. Steele received this honor for her work as a leadership mentor to 2 9th grade public school students. She is also an intern with the FBI training program. And for your Jaguars update, the Jags faced a heartbreaking 27-34 loss to the Panthers in Charlotte last Sunday, which bumped their record to 2-3. The team hopes to bounce back this weekend as they return home this Sunday to take on the 4-0 New Orleans Saints. Kickoff is at 1 p.m. I'm Catherine Cavallo, and this has been your Spinnaker Sports Report. Back to you guys.
All right, thanks, Catherine. Those are some pretty notable achievements in UNF sports history.
It honestly has been great. Big shout out to the student athletes who put in all the hard work.
But speaking of bright lights, where has the sun been recently?
Right? Well, maybe weatherman Miller Mott has an update for us. Let's head to our Spinnaker weather report.
Thanks guys, that was quite a rainy week we had. Luckily, we should have some sunshine this weekend for the beach's Oktoberfest. Let's take a look at our weekend weather forecast. Today, we're going to have a high of 84 and a low of 70 with mostly sunny skies. Moving into Saturday, we're going to have a high of 82 and a low of 66 with still sunny skies. And Sunday, it's going to stay sunny as well with a high of 85 and a low of 70. The rest of the week, we'll have highs remaining in the upper 80s and lows in the lower 70s. This has been your News Nest weather forecast. I'm Miller Mott. Back to you guys.
All right, Miller, thanks for that weather update.
Well, that just about wraps it up for our show today.
Before we leave, then make sure to follow our Instagram and Twitter, both at UNF Spinnaker.
And subscribe to our newsletter at unfspinnaker.com.
I'm Chris Jennings.
And I'm Shafalika Bhatnagar.
And until next time, guys, swoop Ospreys, swoop.